What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Banking on Cultura. I am your host, Victoria Jenn Rodriguez. And here on Banking on Cultura, we talk about the vibrancy and complexity of our beautiful cultura, entrepreneurship, and of course, all the bonchinche in between. Now, my guest today, I'm really excited to interview her because as I was preparing for this interview, I learned so much about her. Before even knowing this much about her, I wanted her to be on the show just because of her presence. My bestie, Liz, shout out to Liz, recommended that I invite her to be on Banking on Cultura. And after learning more about her, and you guys are going to have the opportunity to learn about her, you will see exactly why and why she's the perfect type of fit for our show here. So make sure to grab your pen, your notebook, get ready, maybe grab a cafecito, a glass of wine, because we are going to get all into it. So without further ado, welcome my guest, Qiana Aviles. Welcome to Banking on Cultura.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Un placer. So tell the people, introduce yourself. Tell them about you.
So my name is Qiana Aviles. I am a serial entrepreneur in the beauty and fashion space. Puerto Rican, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I was just telling Vicky, it's okay if I call you Vicky, right? Or Victoria?
Sure. I mean, usually, my family calls me that. But, now that you're here and on the podcast,
well, now I guess
we familiar. Now we connected now. Because if you're going to call me Vicky, we connected.
Okay, exactly.
Okay. Like Cardi B says, forever. Okay?
So, yes. I wanted, I was just telling you, I've just been a workaholic lately, so.
Yeah, well, hopefully this is a refreshing escape.
Yes, it
from
truly
the trabajo.
is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here on Banking on Cultura, we like to take off the mask. We don't like to perform.
Yes.
We like to kind of give the behind the scenes, the rawness, the realness behind what makes us us.
Right.
And also what has allowed for us to be successful by being comfortable in our own skin. So we like to start with some bonchinche. So what can you share with us? It's interesting because her mama bear is in the studio, y'all. And she was like, my daughter doesn't like bonchinche. Every time somebody comes up to her and she turns it down, I was like, she's a special kind because I know me and my girlfriends, we get together and be like, what is tea? Tell me, what is the latest and greatest? But
I mean,
tell
I'm
us.
okay with, what is tea. The thing is, if you're going to be talking about someone, I would expect you to do that in their presence to allow them to have, either speak their piece or their truth or whatever it is. I just don't like to keep going because before you know it, el bochinche llega, you don't even know where.
Yes.
And it's wrong by the time it
gets to you.
Right,
absolutely.
Exactly. So
I think bonchinche gets a bad rap though, because bonchinche can be good bonchinche, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be about somebody else. It can be about a new project. It could be about, I don't know, you were journaling and you had a revelation. It could be anything. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
So it doesn't need to be a bad thing.
No, especially when it is a good thing. There's some people that I want them to know good things and spread good things, you know who to tell. And then there's some that you're just like, oh, forget it. I won't even bother because, like I said, it might get misconstrued, etc. But like you said, tea could be good or bad.
Okay, so give us some tea, mujer.
Let me see. Like I said, I mean, besides us, which a lot of people still don't know this, so let's be fair. Besides Vida, going into Walmart, that's really been my tea lately. That's what I've been focused on. New hobbies. I'm trying to think of something juicy and spicy.
All right, let's talk about your story.
Okay.
Because your story is juicy and spicy
in
itself, right? So wellness and beauty industry, Latina, killing it. Just got this huge deal with Walmart, and we're going to get into the details of that.
Right.
But let's start with what got you here.
Okay.
Because you have had an interesting journey to get you here. You're in business with your mama bear, which I think is just beautiful and amazing and unique.
Yes.
Right? There are not many of those type of partnerships, especially in the Latina community, right? Unless you're thinking about traditional cultured businesses, right?
Mom and pop,
or like a cleaning service or like a restaurant. You don't think wellness, beauty, partnership, Walmart, I did it with my mama bear, right?
Right, absolutely.
So I think that's pretty unique, but I would love to talk about the journey of you getting here. So born in Brooklyn, right?
Correct.
And you had an interesting childhood where it was also non-traditional, right? So walk us through that.
So being born in Brooklyn and just during that time, I want to say that it wasn't your traditional childhood. It was, filled with a lot of life of crime, etc. And I seen a lot at a very young age. And it's interesting because a lot of it had to do with my family. So totally non-traditional childhood. Like I said, I just seen a lot. And things that you want to get away from because you obviously these are not things that you want for yourself. And of course, even my parents as well as my mother, those are not things that you want for your children, even though they may have been instilled in you due to the lack of education. And back then, when the baby boomers and were coming from Puerto Rico, it was like a survival. And this is what they knew and how to, because they were, us Puerto Ricans, those who don't know, they were sold a dream before they came to the United States. And then when they got here, they did what they had to do to survive, which was then shown, or taught rather to my mom. And it was totally non-traditional, non-ethical, etc. I don't know if I should get into the details anymore because of where I'm going and how far I've scaled.
But let's talk about that because as I was watching you do other interviews and doing my research about you, one of the things I really admired and respected was the fact that you owned your story.
Yeah.
And you were willing to talk about it in a way that had really powerful lessons, which is really what I want to pull out.
Yeah.
So let me help you with telling the story.
You're trying to get there.
Let me help you with telling the story.
I get it.
Only because I think that it's relatable. Mm-hmm. I also think that the fact that you are owning it really speaks to what we try to embrace here on Banking Cultura, which is whatever your story is, own that shit.
Right.
Exactly. Because if you control that narrative, nobody could ever use it against you. Mm-hmm. Nobody could ever make you uncomfortable in your own skin.
Absolutely.
Which is a brave thing to do and takes a lot of courage.
Right.
So if the journey allowed you to do that, then you're way ahead than a lot of other people who are walking out here unclear of who they are, what their purpose is, and insecure.
Absolutely.
Right? Who may have a more traditional story or more safe story, right? Or what we've been preconditioned to believe is the right way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So in all fairness and honesty, that's exactly how I truly feel. It's like my passion was to show non-traditional, this is what I've been through, this is my story, this is what I've overcome. However, there are still so many people out there who are so judgmental and don't believe people, they've been through something. This is not who they are. This is maybe who people put a stigma on them to be. And then once you overcome these things, you still face adversity, even from whatever, if you want to do an investment. It's just so many things that's like, okay, this is that past, not knowing because I never got to say in the other interviews that I have done what truly transpired at the end because I'm working on a whole docuseries, which it was supposed to happen then, and the writer's strike and everything happened. So this is why I was never able to say the whole story. So everyone just ran and judged by what I said. But the reason why I wasn't able to say it all was because it was going to come out in the docuseries. I didn't want to give it all the tea, you would say. Right. So with that being said, it's like you're so judged in so many ways, and I'm okay with that. I have super tough skin. Success allows you to build a strong character, and like I always say, with everything I've been through in life, there's nothing that intimidates me, nothing that I'm afraid of. But the truth of the matter is, even let's say if I'm dating a high-profile individual, they're going to give him slack because of my past. Mm-hmm. And I'm owning it. This is me. This person can be in love with you, but they're always going to get, you're this high influential figure, you're dealing with this person, which is not, it's not fair. But these are the things. So this is why I'm trying to showcase, yes, that is my story. I'm owning it. But
it's not my only story.
It's not my only story where, then you have just haters, etc. So you have to it's a very fine line. So yes, I always want to address it. And I'm happy that you did your research and got to say, okay, this is Qiana, because now you get to speak to this Qiana as well. Mm-hmm. So there's both sides. But just to be blatantly forward, Yes, my mother and I got picked up. We went to prison, but we didn't go do time, and that's what everybody needed to know.
Yeah.
Because of lack of, it was just so much lack of evidence, mistaken identity. It was so many things that no one got to know or see because the docuseries hasn't come out yet, and I wasn't able to say my whole truth at that moment. And we're actually going to do updated interviews allowing people to know, because once I was being called everything, prison bae, all type of stuff. And it's just so unfair because you can't judge someone by what they've been through or the choices they had. You have to really get to know people.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that you're even bringing it up, because now not only have I been through that whole journey, but look now what I continue to grow and accomplish and do. And this is a story for anybody else who's going through it or who has been through it. And that's the reason why I want to do prison reform for women. Mostly. I mean, I would show love to the men as well, but I just feel like so many of our stories get swept under the rug,
Absolutely.
and us as women, it's like, and this is why I feel that the story is so important with the mother and daughter, because how many times haven't we seen Narcos, et cetera, but have we really seen it besides recently Griselda?
This is literally top of mind.
Yeah.
When I thought about your story, it definitely gave me Griselda vibes.
So, but the thing is, Griselda is the closest thing to the truth, right? But there's so many stories of men that we've never highlight all these women who have been through stuff. So it was like the real side of a Puerto Rican mom being raising her children in Brooklyn, whatever her family, the background. I mean, we could get into it, but we'll be here for hours, guys. Right. But yeah, so it's reality, it's my truth. I'm owning it, and this is who I am now. I never even had to share it.
Yeah.
But I chose to share it because people are always saying, "Oh, Qiana, what's your journey? How she was spoiled, she had a silver spoon, or she had a man, or whatever." What? No, guys. And it always never felt good with me being politically correct. This is who I am,
I appreciate you being candid about the aftermath of you beginning to share your story.
Yeah.
Because people try to pretend like that's not hard.
No, it's hard.
Or it's not difficult, regardless of what your story is, right? If there's something in your story that you feel other people are going to judge you on, or that things would have gone differently, whatever it is, it's always difficult to share that to the public.
Absolutely.
So I commend you for not only sharing it, but also being real about what came after you sharing it, right? Because what that does is it allows and gives someone else permission to live in their truth, right? Which is really freedom, in my opinion.
And that's how I felt.
And that's
when
powerful.
I started saying that story, it was like freedom. It was, and I say this before, the first time they put the handcuffs on me after 7 years, that's exactly how I felt. Freedom, wusa. I was happy it was over. I was tired of running. So this is why I'm always going to say the truth, no matter where I'm at, whatever. If you were to ask me, I didn't know if that's something you wanted to address, because sometimes different podcasts or whatever it is, like, oh, we don't want to touch base on that. We want to talk about different things. But I'm here to talk about it all. And like you said, take off the mask.
Yeah.
And my goal is to help as many people as possible. It's to bring as many people as possible with me. We're products a lot of times of our environment. Now, don't get me wrong. When you get a certain age, that's not an excuse. But like I said, that's my goal, to help, inspire, and bring as many people with me as possible.
So what I was really interested in learning more about, obviously sharing with the audience your story, but I wanted to know, what were the lessons that you've learned from your mom and just growing up in that lifestyle that are now transferable to you building this wellness empire? Exactly. Right? That's what I want to know. Like,
Exactly.
Yo, what were those transferable lessons? You know what I mean?
So I tell everyone, my strength, my drive, the things that I've seen my mom do, who's in the room, what I've seen her do, I never seen another man do. My strength comes from her. I apply that to every day. Whatever room I'm in, whatever meeting I'm walking in, I walk in with so much confidence because of the things that I seen her do and interact with men years ago when it wasn't okay, when the average woman couldn't even drive. You know what I mean? So just to see her do all these things, she doesn't even know how strong it made me, you know. And like I said, I dominate and talk in any room that I walk in with so much confidence. And if I hate to say it, but like the street game is almost like the corporate game. It's just
it's exactly the same.
just different people, different things.
Yeah,
that,
and people in corporate are doing worse than the people on the street.
Or sometimes they're just as trifling.
This is what I'm saying.
Know,
yes.
And it's dirty.
Yes.
It's bad.
It is a dirty game.
They'll do anything to cut your throat.
Absolutely.
So it's just pretty much the same.
Right.
Who you trust.
They package it differently.
Amen.
And so that's why it's looked at differently.
Yes.
That's the only difference.
Exactly.
But they got a whole bunch of shenanigans going on as well. So you spoke a lot about your mom.
And we also have some that are really like do it the same thing, just legally. There's a lot of companies. There's a lot, you know.
Everybody's doing coke on Wall Street. That's number one. They on the trading desk high as fuck. And I know because I grew up on Wall Street. So I know.
Right.
Okay, I've been offered plenty of bumps, and I'm not talking about caviar. Okay? So it goes down.
Yes.
It goes down.
Yeah. So I'm glad you are fully aware of that.
I am fully aware.
Yes.
It is no secret.
Exactly.
And anybody who tries to deny that is in denial.
In denial.
Is in Dululand.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned your mom, you know, dealing with men back then. And when you are at the table negotiating deals for your brands and just, you know, negotiating with vendors and merchandisers, etc., can you give an example of something you saw your mom do that you have now brought into your business?
Oh, absolutely. Her, like I said, the toughness, just very firm. And again, I was like a little girl, but I remember these things, and she was always very firm, and I always remember how all these men looked up to her. And I always wanted that too, but in a different role, you know what I mean? A different life. So those same things that I saw growing up, like I can walk into a meeting. I'm a great negotiator.
Okay, give me your top 3 negotiation tips.
I always say, you're going to go high, I'm going to keep going low. That's always my thing. I don't know how to say, I don't accept no. So I just keep going. You know, I'm like, we got to meet halfway somewhere here.
What do you mean you're going to go high, I'm going to keep going low? What do you mean, like numbers-wise?
Numbers-wise. Like if they're going to propose, obviously, a higher number, and I'm going to keep going lower, so we got to meet halfway somewhere.
Okay.
Like, let's stop wasting each other's time. Let's both make each other happy. And, you know, we're going to keep doing good business together. I believe a great relationship starts when both parties are happy in business. So great negotiation. Like I said, I just go in there with so much confidence. I've had men tell me, my God, do I still have my pants on?
I love that.
And I'm just like,
okay, so compromise is what I'm hearing. Confidence.
Yes, for sure.
What's your third tip?
I told you I never say no, right? I don't take no.
So is there anything that, like, let's say you're about to go into a negotiation.
Because I don't even think about it, right? Like, it's so natural.
Do you prepare? Like, what do you do when
it's
you're going
so
into
natural.
this?
I literally have people call me and be like, can you tell them? Can you talk to them for me? Because they have seen me do it. Again, I'm not realizing that somebody else is watching because it's become so natural. It's actually a turn on for me. It's crazy because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this done.
Yes,
and so far it's worked.
Well, you have several businesses.
Yes,
so it has worked. So you have Nail Lounge, you have Vida, you have clothing line, Honor. ¿Qué más? Am I missing something?
I have Vida. I have Nail Lounge. I have Vida Dry Bar. I have Honor. I have Q&A Nail Polish.
Girl, okay, hold on a second. How do we even start that many businesses? Like, is it your team that's holding you down? Like, how does that even begin?
No, okay. So that's where I have to start letting go. I've been doing everything myself for so long. And it's like, okay, now you have to start delegating people, especially now with Walmart, et cetera. It's like, okay, you have to build a solid, amazing team. I think that at the beginning, the trust issue was a thing. So I just started taking everything on myself. And I don't know. I can't. People always ask me, but how do you do this? How do you that? And
well, it has to be a team because you can't be at Nail Lounge all day. And
no. I now have like a manager. But when you say like to start all these different businesses, I wish I had a team to apply that. No, I don't. Okay. But I do have a manager at Nail Lounge. Obviously, we have individuals who work with Vida. But all the companies started by, myself. My mom started Vida, and then I came on board, and we kind of did it. Now we're doing it together. But initially, like all the other businesses, I initiated them. I started them, yes.
Okay. Would you do it the same way all over again, or what would you do differently?
Absolutely. Like I said, it's hard to trust individuals. Now it's different. I plan to build amazing, solid teams, but it takes time. And as anyone knows, as an entrepreneur, your operations and your solid team takes some time to build.
Yeah.
So
that was actually what I wanted to ask you about, was team building.
Right.
Because the way I imagine it, to have that many businesses, there needs to be people that you ultimately trust to like run the ship while you're not there, because you can't be everywhere at all the same time.
No, for sure. Like I mentioned, with Nail Lounge, I do have someone.
By the way, for those who don't know, Nail Lounge is a very popular nail salon in New York City. Okay, all your favorite influencers, celebrities, all the things have been there, which kind of like put you on the map, right? Because it was that kind of
That's what catapulted everything. It's opened up so many doors, so many great relationships began at Nail Lounge, which I no longer have a restaurant, but I went on to do restaurants, etc. And your network just continues to grow. So that's kind of where it started 15 years ago.
So how did you manage to let go and actually like begin to trust people?
Well, you have no choice. Your bandwidth is but so wide, so broad. You have to definitely start delegating things. But like I said, you still want to oversee everything and make sure that everything is running smoothly.
So what does that
like when
look
I leave here, I'll pass by Nail Lounge, make sure everything was okay. But for the most part, I get closeouts. I still haven't let go. Everything's on my phone, all data, messages, everything goes through my phone. Even while I'm driving here to you, like everything is nonstop. I still oversee everything. Email campaigns that are going out, I see get approved. Push notifications that go out, approve. I approve everything.
Do you think you'll ever be able to let go?
I want to.
Okay.
I want to. I feel like to even truly be more successful, I need to let go. Mm-hmm. I need to focus on being the CEO.
Yeah. Yeah. But I can see how that could be difficult, especially I'm pretty sure you came across a lot of characters growing up and just seeing how those relationships needed to be managed, and then thinking about your business, which is your baby. It is really difficult to like let go, and it's hard to find good people. And people that,
especially these days.
Yeah, and people that, are going to treat your business with respect.
Absolutely.
As they would their own. So I could see how it could be difficult, like letting go. I wonder if that is more a woman thing, because I find that men delegating, here, take this, take this, take this, take that. But for women, I don't know if it's because we have this like fixer complex. Like we got to be the fixer upper.
Yeah.
Like we're just so used to managing multiple things at once.
Absolutely.
And it becomes very natural for us that we sometimes like forget that in order for us to grow, we need to let go, or for our own mental health, for our own survival, like we need to chill and we need to like delegate.
No, absolutely. I would totally agree with that. I also feel like us women, we're also like nurturers, right? And if it's our baby, it's like, I don't want to let this go, or, it means so much to me. I want somebody to love it and have as much passion as we do. And most of the time, like you said, men are easy because they know having a good team or a good woman on their team, everything's going to get done.
Girl,
perfectly.
All the successful men that I know, the majority of their team are women.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The majority of their team are women.
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
That's a fact, like they say.
But what I find interesting is when women work with other women, like when the woman's the boss and then it's a woman team, like the dynamic is just like so different, which I think really sucks, because it's like, why are we out here making these men more successful?
Yep.
Like, we should be making each other more successful,
I agree.
Right?
Absolutely. It is so true. It's actually sad because I don't know if it's like in today's day and age, everyone wants to leap and like like your story is so beautiful, but like no one wants to go through that phase anymore. And I think when women work for you and they see you, they see you own this beautiful place, they see you driving a nice car, and they see when you come and they're like, maybe all day working, they're like, oh, that should be me. And it's like, it will be you. Just put a little bit of effort into your work and let's work together. And I think that that's another thing too, where if I have a successful business, why are you trying to do the same concept right across the street? Why are we not coming together and opening 5 of them? Like, it's like everyone wants this title where once you're successful and you have the title, you're like, oh my God, don't even call me.
Get somebody else to do it.
Tell somebody else. Because you start getting all these things that come to you. It's like, people want the success and the title, but it's like once you have that, you're like, I don't need nobody to know. It's okay. So I just wish that more women would come together in that way, as opposed to just like having an issue taking whether it's being told what to do, if it's, it's an iffy.
It is.
I don't know why.
Collaboration is just a huge gap when it comes to women. Yes. I mentioned to you that I started a nonprofit literally called the Female Collaborative to teach women how to collaborate, because we just don't know how, because we were raised to compete.
It's so
for the appeasement of men, really. That's what we are raised to compete for, unfortunately.
Right.
Whereas men, they're raised to compete for goals, for accolades, for different things. And that carries over in our adult lives. And I find that, like, that cattiness and that jealousy that exists with women. You know what I find in this era of so much exposure and people just having so much access and people creating their own narratives without having the full story, it's very easy for them to become envious or to feel like, why not me? Because they haven't achieved, like, they're not where they want to be. And so it's easy for us to like look at somebody else and kind of have this jealousy. And I think jealousy can be healthy. If it triggers something in you to step up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I think...
Or good competition, right?
Like healthy competition,
healthy competition where you're like, okay, wow, that's awesome. I want to do that. Or even be inspired, right?
Right.
But I don't know. It's just like you said, I don't know why they have that issue.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's sad. Hopefully with, your nonprofit, you can change that.
I try. I mean, we have events all the time.
How's that going?
It's going well. Okay. We're doing good. We're in our 8th year. We have an annual summit called the Securethebigbag and Wellness Summit.
That's amazing.
So that women can learn how to go after the bag, but also prioritize their wellness. So last year was the first year that we focused on this theme, and it was received really, really well. So we had conversations about, securing corporate contracts, working with partners like Walmart, but also perimenopause. Because listen, that is a real thing.
That's a real thing.
And the data is telling us that women younger are starting to experience perimenopause, like early 30s.
Why do you think that's happening? Because, doesn't it go by like when you first got your menstrual or?
No, it doesn't.
Wow.
It is different for every woman.
Okay.
And they haven't really figured out like
what
jump starts it. However, there is data, of course, tied to diet. Right? So your diet is like attached to everything. So your diet could drive like how bad it is versus how good it is.
Wow.
But what's really great is like now they have all this hormonal therapies to help you with some of the symptoms of perimenopause.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
But a big part of it was women weren't educated on what those symptoms are. So they'll go to the doctor and they'll be like, yo, my shoulder, I can't move it. Like it's kind of like dead. And doctors would like give them all this medication, not knowing that that's actually a symptom of perimenopause. It's called cold shoulder.
Wow.
Right?
I didn't even know that.
They go to their GYN and they're like, yo, my vagina's not dry. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm complaining to my man. Like, he got to do something different. Right? And so they're like, oh, use lube. But it actually is a symptom, right? Of perimenopause.
I had no
and
idea.
like all these things, like the most minor things, like my cousin, she has it and her ear inside is itching.
Sorry.
Thank you. Her ear inside is itching the hell out of her. So she's like literally like trying to like dig in her ear. Like the most random annoying things and beautiful things about being a woman that we have to go through. But women don't know. So they're going to the doctor and they're being misdiagnosed because they don't know that it's perimenopause. So we had some doctors on the panel. So really interesting stuff. We talked about diet and all the things. We got to get you involved since you're the wellness queen,
Does
beauty.
it happen in New York? Or?
It does.
Okay.
So this year it'll be in New York or New Jersey. We're still looking for our location.
Wow.
But
Yeah, I
it's
would
in
love
November.
to. That's amazing, especially with great information, because I truly believe like you should leave with something when you attend these great events.
Totally. You better leave with something.
Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, but there's something that you like, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't leave with anything.
Yeah,
you know
totally.
What I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I say that too, like attach yourself to someone that may inspire you or whatever it is. Like, you got to leave or take information when you attend these events.
Absolutely. And I take pride in curating a space where you have no choice but to leave with something, right? Because you're sitting next to somebody who's dope as hell. You're hearing from somebody who's dope as hell. Or we're creating the environment for you to connect and for you to find yourself, essentially.
For sure. Is it like a invite only, or is it like
no?
just
It's open to the public.
Oh, that's awesome.
We usually have about 200 women who come. We cap it at that because once it gets beyond that, it's like
not
a
intimate.
monster. Yeah, it becomes too much, and get somebody else to do it. Okay.
Yes, no, I
Get
totally
somebody
get
else
it.
to do it.
I totally get it.
But I do like keeping it a little more intimate. Like I like seeing a face and knowing the name to the person,
It's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's a lot of work, but it's good work. Let's get into the Bonchinche with this Walmart deal.
Yes,
So how
yes.
did this even come about?
Okay. So Viva has been D2C for, I want to say, we really went D2C.
And D2C is direct to consumer.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I apologize for that. For those who don't know, direct to consumer. We've started about 2017 because my mom really was playing in the kitchen in 2015, 16. So in 2017, we went e-com, and social media with IG and my mother was giving out the products in the salon. And, we had all these influencers coming in, like you said, and she was just giving it out. It didn't start as a business. And as people were loving the product, they just kept coming. They started making cheese lines. It was crazy. And of course we had, people like Cardi B, et cetera, come, and it just kept growing on its own, like organically, no ads, nothing.
That's amazing.
So then we had someone that works with, who was watching this, I guess, the whole time. And they were working on someone that's like extremely famous. I don't want to say because then that's saying their business. Like that we would never think, right? They come and they reach out and they're like, hey.
If it's Bad Bunny, you got to say it's Bad Bunny.
No.
All right.
No, but it's like one of the first influencers.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
And they were like, they reached out to
Kim
someone.
Kardashian?
I am not saying. Pero tú estás caliente.
Okay.
So it's just very close, right?
Okay.
And they reached out to someone else who I knew, and they were like, we would love to meet her, and we can't believe this. We have to see it for ourselves.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. They flew in from LA, came to our warehouse, and they were like, we can't believe what you've done, like with bare bones, nothing, and I was like, well, it's here, you see it, it's reality or whatever. And they was like, this is insane. And then they wanted to introduce to Walmart, Ultras, etc.
Right.
And we set up a meeting. They set up a meeting to go down, because when they came, they were like, which I found really interesting, they was like, no, not to put anyone's business out there, but your numbers are more than this person's line. And I was like, no freaking way. Like, there's no way. And they was like, I work on the line, I'm telling you.
That's awesome.
So we went down to Bentonville, Arkansas.
Yep,
Shout out
that's
to Arkansas.
where they're headquartered. Yes.
To the and I don't know if you ever been, but it's so impressive, right? So I didn't grow up. I grew up like, I didn't really go to Walmart like that, because I never really lived by Walmart. It was more like other brands, but I don't want to mention right now, even though it's okay because we plan to be in Ulta and Target. I should have said that in Bochinche. But so when we went down there, we had to present. We presented, my mother and I, and I killed it.
Okay, of course.
Yes, and
so what did that presentation look like? Like, walk us through what's included.
So,
what are you talking about?
Oh, yes, that's important, right? For the women and men that don't know, it's a deck, and in that deck, as if you were to present to any other. I don't know if anyone has experience presenting, but it's pretty much like your story in a booklet. And I say mine was a booklet that I remember some of the people from Walmart, they was like, oh, this is money. Because you put effort into it. It wasn't just like something you get off a ChatGPT.
Right, it was
like
that thick paper.
I wish I would have bought it to show you. Yes, it was a thick paper, binded. It was a beautiful imagery. My grandmother was in it. The story of being, Latin and how we understand polycultural hair and so we presented that. So it consisted of that. It consisted of our numbers. It consisted of our competitors. Everything that a deck would consist of, that as well as our story, like our mission, how we started, where we at in that space of whoever else is out there, and how we differentiate ourselves. So that's what it consisted of, and they loved it.
And what were the stats? Because Latinas are big purchasers in the wellness industry, right?
Yes. Well, overall, I don't remember the recent number for that, but overall, yes, we kill it. We dominate. I think we pretty much own the category. And for the buying power, which was kind of predictable anyway.
Right.
But we definitely own that space. And the Walmart, I think it's 73% of the shoppers in Walmart are Latina women who purchase for their families. Their whole household. Even the men.
Wow. Incredible. So you're in this meeting, and the meeting was for them to carry your product.
Yes.
So what does that look like? Like, do you have to order a whole bunch of inventory to stock it? Like, how do you get paid? Like, are you getting paid off what they sell? Like, how does that work?
Okay, so do you want me to finish the one? So the meeting, how it looked?
Yeah, finish the meeting.
So we were in,
as
so
you can tell, I'm
in.
excited. I'm like, give me all of it.
So when we go to, when you get to Arkansas, by the way, shout out to Walmart. Like, you guys did such an amazing, they own.
Yeah, shout out to Walmart. We actually really do love Walmart. You'll get more of that bonchiche later. But,
So we, congratulations. So we walk in, right? I mean, you get there and everything's like Walmart. These buildings are amazing, state of the art. You just grow a totally different respect for, the Walton family and what they did and what they continue to do. So I'm there. You walk in the conference room, and remember I told you, I believe you got one shot and you better own it. So I walked in there and I'm like, I gave it my all. I left it all on the table. Did
you practice? Did you rehearse before the meeting?
I never do. I just asked God to open this up.
Yeah.
And I went through the thing because some of the stuff was added. Like the printing, it was added so last minute. So I was like, I just spoke from my heart. And I always believe in speaking from my heart. And you're going to either love me or hate it. You know what I mean? So I believe in speaking from my heart. We did, nailed it. As soon as we walked out, the buyers were like, you're in.
Wow. Incredible. How long was that decision-making process?
Well, it didn't take them long, which so we walk out and they're like, you're in, right? But then I'm like, okay,
so
what
you
is
walked
next?
out and they said you're in.
You're in.
Wow.
So, and the module that's coming, fifth week of 2025, which is this year, obviously.
Okay.
And then it got pushed because fifth week is March, the first week of March. Then it got pushed back. Girl, my packaging was delayed. Like you said, it's not always pretty. We're taking off masks here. We're saying the truth.
Right.
Packaging was delayed. I had to air freight packaging from China.
Wow.
It was a lot of money, like you said. You dish out so much money. So whoever's watching, if you planning to scale, make sure you're prepared because you can fail and lose both. So it's
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
So when they tell you you're in, what do they say? Do they say you need to have a certain amount of product by this day at the store?
So remember, they're still not telling you the amount of stores you're in yet.
Okay.
They're not telling you anything. So it's pretty much like figuring everything out and learning as you go along. Because first you got to have they got to approve which products. It has to fit perfectly in their module. So then you don't know, you can't produce.
What is the module? What is that?
The modules, when you go into the store and see how everything is set up, that's their module.
Okay.
So,
like on the shelves.
yes.
Okay.
So, but they literally, in Bentonville, they have like a fake Walmart where they set everything up on the shelves.
Do you get to say where your product sits on that module?
No. So I was so blessed, because if you go to any Walmart right now, we just came out. We're sitting with the heavy hitters. And I'm just like, wow, God, you are so good. You are so good. But no, you don't say which stores. So you're kind of just going with the flow. But it's so many intricate details, because it has to be lab tested. Everything has to, Walmart plays no games. You have to, as you stated, manufacture thousands and thousands of units. You're not getting paid up front. However, if you're a minority woman, a business-owned woman, if you have that certification, you will get paid maybe as fast as 48 hours. However, but if you're not, which I'm working on my certification now, so yes, I had to put up all that money.
Wow. Okay.
So had to put up hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you're now manufacturing not only packaging, formulation. You have to make sure you own everything. It's so...
So did you take out a loan to do that?
No, by the grace of God, thank God that we did well D2C. Remember, I told you
Right.
we did really well D2C. Our clients, our faithful, loyal customers, I can't thank them enough. Like, they've been with us for years. And by the grace that we've been able to, I didn't have a loan, no line of credit, nothing.
Do you think that was the smart way to do it?
No, but it's like, again, I believe you have an opportunity, own it, and I'm losing out for
Right.
60, 90 days. That's okay. I'll wait. I know the check is secure, but you just have to put out a lot of money up front.
Yeah.
And then I was doing too, because when Walmart came and approved us, our packaging was shit. I'm sorry, it was shitty. Like, it was terrible. And I, again, being as transparent as possible, I was like, okay, no, we have to redo packaging. It was like starting all over, brand deck, everything. So all that costs money too. And then I was doing 2 of them, because I was doing a specific ounce size for Walmart and now a specific size for D2C for our consumer. So Walmart only has 10 ounces. D2C has 13. So it's 2 different.
Wow.
It was literally 2 businesses at the same time. And the people that I was dealing with, they're like, how are you doing this? This is nuts. And I was also working on another brand that I'm coming out with, but it's not for me. I'm doing it for someone else.
Oh, nice.
So it was a lot. And they're just like, why, this is a lot. Like,
So-
you're designing packaging, you're doing this, So it's a lot, guys.
With the Walmart deal, so they get you on the shelves.
Yes.
So is there conversation about, like, are you getting a percentage of the sale? Like, how are you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
Walmart and I do 50-50.
50-50. Okay. Interesting. And is it, like, do they send you, like, reporting of how much sells in each store?
Everything. They send you everything on a weekly basis. When I tell you, they are so detailed in every sense of the word. And then you have a team who handles that, because you can't be in every state, obviously. So they go to stores. They tell you your sales, your stats, your projections of the next 6 months. They have all that.
Interesting. Is it like a year thing? Like, what do they do?
Oh,
They say, let's see how you do for
No,
a
no,
year,
no.
and then
No, they just give you give you stores a certain amount. You do good, they give you more stores. The only thing that I can think could get you off shelves if it's not selling.
Yeah. So
But
I
it's
know
no,
you're
like,
just in it,
contracts.
right? Because you just got March is when you guys officially kicked off. So far, what has been your biggest lesson?
With Walmart, put all the marketing up front. Don't be afraid.
What do you mean put all the marketing up front?
So you can't wait till 3rd or 4th quarter to start pumping all this money into marketing. You have to go really hard, like the first quarters, that for sure. And like you mentioned before, would I have done it differently? Would you get a line of credit? Would you do that? Those are the things that I have learned with the experience. That I would suggest that if you can. But I heard amazing stories when I went to their summit. They had a summit before you go in, and they invite you to. And there were like so many other people who were already there, and they were like saying, man, I did everything I had to. I maxed out credit cards. I borrowed money. But then years later, they were in an amazing space in all their stores, 4,500 stores.
Wow.
So they're doing amazing.
So
it's like, you know, some things are just worth it.
I'm always a fan of OPM, other people's money.
Like,
other people's money.
No, I hear that.
Do.
Yes.
Like leverage, build your business credit and leverage the hell out of that shit.
No,
like,
I wouldn't even know how to, like, of course, you know, you can go to a bank and take out a loan or whatever, but I don't know. And then, like you said, blanquitos do this all the time. Yo no sé cómo pedir. I don't know how to ask somebody for, like, oh, can I get $200,000, $300,000? And they do it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Like nothing.
Yeah.
Some of them is like, if you're not asking for $2 million, you're wasting my time.
Yeah, totally.
We own this 100%. So to start, you know, the equity, and so you're like, because it's like you said, we're Latinos. This is an opportunity to create legacy, generational wealth for years to come. Do you just start selling that off?
Yeah.
You know, once again, it is our baby. My mother poured everything into these products. I've watched her. We continue to do more research to make them better and better. So this is not just like, oh, we went to a manufacturer, slapped the label on it. No, these are our formulas that she's researched, that she came out with, and we continue to do that now together. You know, I think we've both grown a passion for it, and, you know, we plan to do more and more lines, more collections, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's more personable to us.
Yeah. No, that's the tricky thing when you choose to bring on investors, right? Is you obviously have to give up something.
Right.
And also you got to deal with their bullshit, like their personalities. They want this, they want that. You got to
has to be the right investor.
It always has to be the right investor.
It has to be a right investor. I started this brand with someone, and it didn't work out. And I'm cool with that, you know, because it's like you said, different personalities, etc. And you're just like, nah, I'm okay. I'm going to take this off on my own. And that's another thing I've experienced too. Like, not everyone is a good partner. It has to be the right partnership.
Right.
You know, so if you're going to take money, for example, like you said, from an investor, it's like, who is the investor? Is it a right partnership? You know, because you're giving up so much. So as far as equity.
You'll be interested in learning that there are some investors that don't even want anything. Like, they'll give you money and they're just like, show me a return.
Right.
And then it's whatever.
Well, those are the ones I need to know.
Those are the special ones that you gotta like seek out. And there's also like tons of grants too. Like Tory Burke gives out grants. Like there's tons of money floating around.
Absolutely.
That you can apply for that you don't even have to pay back.
That's good.
That you can put towards
whatever.
Anything. You know what I mean? And the fact that you have so many years of experience in the game, you have numbers to like back it up. Like,
absolutely.
You know, people want to be just to say, oh yeah, I was a part of that.
Yes.
You know, even though they don't own anything, they just want to be like, oh yeah, I was a part of that.
Yes.
And what I've learned is that these people with just disposable income, some of them really do care about helping like another entrepreneur like really grow.
Right.
And then others are just like, so like whatever. They have these family offices that just, their main job is to give out fucking money.
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
Yeah, just to give out money. It's like, give it to me.
Yes.
Like, give me the money.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm gonna
when you
keep that in
delegate, then you'll get into those rooms. Then you can spend time in those rooms.
Yes, I was just going to say, you know what? Moving forward, I'm going to do all those things. But I haven't had to, you know, by the grace of God. But doesn't mean as you continue to grow that you're not going to need
But you said something important that I think a lot of entrepreneurs do need to keep in mind. Like, scaling sounds sexy.
Right.
And it sounds like everybody has that goal. I want to scale. I want to scale. I want to scale. Not realizing like what that entails, but also how it could be your demise.
Absolutely.
Right? If you scale too fast. There's plenty of those stories. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact that you are doing it your way and on your timetable obviously has served you.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
you know,
absolutely.
you got to decide like,
if you're really ready.
Right. And if you really want to do that.
And if you really want to do it.
It is another level. It is another level to unlock. And
I was just going to say that. Like, someone asked me, you know, when they ask you, like, your goals and stuff, and then they're just like, okay, but why? And I'm just like, because that's what you know, but there's some people that you don't need to. If you're making, I don't know, $100,000 a month, people are happy, you know? So it's all what you truly want in life and what makes you happy.
Yeah. Is that what you guys are making?
More.
More than $100,000 a month? Wow, what a blessing.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yes, thank God.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah.
That's dope. I feel like there's so much more that I want to dig all in your business.
I know. You can, I know. It's just, I know you know
everything. I want to know everything.
I'm here, you know, and that's what I always say. I want to be as transparent as possible.
Yeah.
I know you're probably running out of time, but.
So I guess what I would love for you to leave with folks is, how would you suggest someone who wants to start in a product-based business, someone who wants to do D2C, someone who wants to start like e-commerce, what are some of the things that they need to consider before like they launch?
Owning your own formula. Why am I speaking up to the mic? Like
owning your own formula. Like, what does that mean?
Whatever it is, whatever product it is, make sure you own the IP for it.
Okay.
It's just like music and royalties. It's the same thing.
Okay.
If I don't own this, I can't never truly sell it or scale it to its full potential.
Okay.
Because someone is going to come and say, you do not own this. I do. So you can only get a percentage of it.
Okay.
So I would suggest anyone before you launch, and even if you want to launch first, do whatever you have to do to own whatever it is, whether it's makeup, hair care, whatever it is, please own your IP. Because you'll never be able to sell or be truly successful if you don't. You can do D2C, that's great, but you would never truly.
So did your mom come up with the formula?
Yes.
So she's like a scientist?
Okay.
She's like a jack of all trades.
I always make a joke. She went from cooking something else to it.
Right.
So it's her. Okay, she created the formula like at home, etc.
Okay.
Then when you go to manufacture it, like to percentage wise, and you go into stores or just anywhere, you know, even on D2C, you break it down to the science aspect of it.
Okay.
So that's how they help you. But they know when you come to them, it's NDA. This is my formula.
Okay.
And when in our warehouse, we were just doing it for years ourselves. But once you start scaling, and you need other individuals to help, because you can't just be mixing there forever. You do need to say, this is my NDA, this is my formula, we understand that you're just breaking it down to the science.
Got it. Interesting. Okay, so you go seek out like scientists to like break it down.
Well, the chemists, they most facilities who have a manufacturing will help you with that. They have chemists.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they understand that, and it's pretty much like, for example,
did you do that in the U.S. or did you go somewhere
U.S. So, and that was very difficult because we're plant-based. We will not compromise our ingredients, etc. So you have to find a manufacturer who's willing to do that, because it's almost like dealing with food. So because we're plant-based in that way, it's a plant, but they'll change it to an inky name, which is a scientific name. It could be anything. So that's where but that still is your formula, and you own it.
Interesting.
So
cool.
I would leave everyone, please, guys, own your IP. We're tired of having La Cultura. We're tired of coming up with these amazing ideas and not owning them. So moving forward, I would suggest anyone to own your formula. It is key.
That's a great takeaway.
Yes.
Own your shit.
Own your shit.
So let the people know where they can learn more about you.
So my Instagram is Qiana Aviles, which is my name. It's Qiana, Qiana Aviles. That's my Instagram. I'm really not heavy on TikTok, which everyone is telling me I should be on. But yes, that's my Instagram. You could pretty much get all the tea there.
And you have all your businesses tagged over there.
Yes, exactly.
Buy it up.
Exactly. And what else? I really want to just tell women and men, if you have an idea, you've been chosen. Just own it, walk in it, and yeah.
I love that. That's a great way to end today's episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed what you learned, let us know in the comments. We appreciate you guys sharing our episodes with people that you believe need to hear it. And we love feedback, period, because the more feedback we get from you, the better we can get to make sure that we're serving up the best bonchinche, the best information, so that you can have the tools and resources that you need to not only start a business, but also scale up as well. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. Ciao.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, I'm pretty sure you're going to love the next one. So make sure to click right here and tap into the next episode.